Greetings and salutations. This is Soup Citizens Obscura, Book 2, Chapter 4. Spotted tongues with doubling snakes. And I am your storyteller, your narrator, Nobody. Welcome. How we doing?
Hello, how are you?
Getting by.
Going to have to crank.
With your vacation. Anything good?
Everything is going well. Give me 1 second because for some reason Alright, say something now.
Something now?
You are still very quiet for some reason.
Oh, maybe I'm taking it too personally. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
That's a little better now. Okay. Vacation is going well.
You have some surround sound at your house, don't you?
Do I what?
You don't use headphones, you use speaker in area.
I am using the laptop, but honestly I might switch to the headphones if I can find them in time. Oh, there they are. Literally right in front of me.
Well, that's the best place to hide after all, isn't it? You know the old saying. If it was a snake, it would have bit you. Testing.
And there we go. It works.
Welcome. How we doing, Aurora?
I was catching up on the post that I missed apparently. And it made him all the more paranoid.
Paranoid? Why would you be paranoid? Going to a open secret Nosferatu hangout. It'll be fun. Welcome, Hazel. How we doing?
I am exhausted.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But the labors are over for today at least, right?
Well, yes, for today. No, the technician that transferred and put in her 2 weeks. So, like, the Tuesday after Memorial Day was supposed to be her last day. And she just has not shown up for any of her shifts. So, yeah.
So by 2 weeks, she means instantly quitting.
Right. That's what it seems like, yeah.
And you're getting undue pressure to get back to work?
Well, I don't mind so much because, I like paychecks. But yeah, it's just, I wasn't anticipating working overtime this week when I was only scheduled for 30 hours.
Uh-huh.
That is most unfortunate.
Yeah. On the bright side, at least my shelves can start looking like nice and neat and organized again without, 4 bottles being open at a time.
It was the most annoying shit when I was working at CVS. As I was going through counting things, and I'm like, okay, 1 bottle's open, so I have to count that. And there's 500 in this bottle. Oh, joy. And oh, look, another 500 count bottle that's open, so I have to count it individually as well.
Right.
Great.
So at the end of last month was state count for the controls. I had an open bottom of, what was it? It was a 500 count of, a control that was open. My brain is not even functioning to give you the right name right now. But it was open. It was mostly full. And
that's always the best.
Right. And instead of using that one, because it was in a basket to be counted by someone else, she just opened the other one. For like 3 tablets.
Yeah, that's annoying. That is annoying.
Right. And my pharmacist, he wasn't scheduled to work the day of state count, so he came in like right before the store closed so that he could do them. So I spent the day counting all of the controls so that he could get out of there quicker.
No, that was kind of you.
But yeah, it'll be nice to have real shelves again. The other recent super annoying thing they did was change the preferred NDC for the atorvastatins. So they're not the pre-count 90 bottles anymore, they're 1,000 count bottles.
Wait, why would they do that?
Right?
That's literally like one of the most commonly used medications. Why in God's name would they switch it?
Right? It's the
to
same
1,000 count bottle.
It's the same manufacturer too.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That's such a monumentally stupid decision. Like, literally. Oh my. For context, because we have 2 people here who I don't think understand why I'm freaking out about this. Atorvastatin, it's literally like one of the most commonly used medications, like probably top 10. It came as a bottle of 90 count, which is a 3-month supply, which almost every insurance will cover for this. So it was easy. You just literally slap the label on the bottle and call it a day to fill it. It was very quick. We love getting those prescriptions. And from what our good friend Hazel here is telling me, they changed those out for 1,000 count bottles, which means you can't just slap the label on it and call it a day. You have to count out 90 individual tablets every single time you fill one of the most commonly prescribed medications in the pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and are they supporting it with additional hours or additional pay, or?
That's hilarious.
This is CVS. What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, it's not just CVS that I expect the answer to be wholeheartedly big fat fuck you to the employees, but I concur with the ability to be completely 100% dubious and also be filled and brimming with hope.
No, absolutely not. In fact, it's hilarious because our demand hours, the hours that the computer thinks we're supposed to have scheduled, we're running about 80 demand hours. And the pharmacist, their hours comes out of those hours. So that's 64 hours out of 80. So the leftovers is what the tech is supposed to get.
So only 16 hours?
Right, and fuck that. Because when the computer auto-generates the schedule, it generates me with full-time hours. It generates the tech that just quit with full-time hours. So it was scheduling us like auto scheduling us like 132 hours. And I'm like, I am going to use all of that. Because that's what the computer says. It's ignoring demand, so I'm going to ignore demand.
So let me get this straight. The computer said you only need 80 demand hours. But then the computer also said, yeah, fuck that. That's not enough. I'm going to schedule you both full time.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, so that's what I'm using. I'm using that number of hours right there. That one.
Welcome, Jay. How we doing?
No, that's not jaded.
I thought it was. Oh,
No.
oh,
Nope.
it's Louie. I just looked up at the screen. Sorry about that.
I should probably go wake him up.
Heard the beep, but didn't look at the screen. Sorry, I was busy moving things around and doing a quick audit of that particular pile of sketchbooks, hoping that I had more of the nice big stuff to use, but I may have to obtain other Bristol board pads because that stock there is that's almost completely used. And over. Why did the post make you paranoid, by the way? It should have been fulfilling, knowing that you were very close to a major mystery that you didn't know was a mystery.
This ain't Scooby-Doo. Oh, Maggie, we ain't going to looking for no ghosts.
Oh, absolutely we are. We'd love...
You should, definitely.
Ernie has had enough of people for this week. He don't want to people no more. He want to take his ass back to his hotel and mind his motherfucking business for about 2 days, and then he'll be back into it.
That's what you say until you realize that you've led everyone back to a safe haven. Nothing.
So what now?
Nothing. Oh, nothing.
Exactly. Oh, just eyes everywhere.
Bravo, Charlie. This is Mikey24. Subject is entered a hotel.
I mean, after all, it is within 100 miles of the, border of the United States.
Yeah.
And,
No
border.
to that. It's not like, months ago there's already been a notice and in that one shot, the hint that forces are closer than they seem. Yeah, no one pays attention to that. No one pays attention to the details. That's where the devil hides.
Right.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, I set out some nice little threads there for you, way back.
See, the thing is, Ernie's already thought about people might be following him back to his haven.
So he's gonna go ahead.
So he gonna do a couple loops.
He's gonna go hide in the club opening. Lead them to a nightclub full of other people and other potential whoever's out there in the dark, so they can get lost.
Right.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm figuring I'm just gonna go ahead and keep boasting my scenes regardless of what Haas has got going on. I think he's real distracted today.
Yeah, these things happen. So one minor, because we have 4 of the actual staff for the coast here, and we generally operate fairly transparently, except for things that are specifically relating to spoiler and meta territory. So I must ask you all, because each of you, in several chronicles and several games, have experienced my character generation eye. And what that means is, hey, I'll raise this point. What you do with it is entirely up to you, unless, of course, you ask specifically for my suggestion. So I want to know, specifically for Ticket 14, was any of the suggestions, because they're just pointing out these are some of the issues that are there, was that particularly abusive, or was it particularly hard? Was there any bit of diplomacy that I could have utilized to keep them from feeling as if they are fucking up?
I honestly couldn't say because I have not read it. Is that the failed reality?
Yeah.
I'm catching up there. I don't see anything that would, I don't know, set people off.
I don't either, but I'm a little tone deaf at times, even though I try to be as diplomatic as possible from the outset. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it seems Dead Eras was attempting to raise an issue with our behavior towards them. So I wanted to make sure that we were in the clear as far as most other players and characters were concerned. Yes, I know that they're an ass, and I know that it may not be 100% serious, or it may not actually follow through, but just so that we are aware.
Fun.
Yep.
What? That would make more sense.
I don't know any details as of yet, but the simple fact that they were already speaking in that manner, I'd like us to be a little more aware as to any diplomatic issues. And that's solely on me, because I know I can, in being passionate about this hobby of ours, it can be off-putting to people who are not prepared to engage on that level of communication. So,
as far as the concept, I don't have too much of a problem with it. I guess the big question for me would be, what do they mean by investigative blogger? Like, I see it looks like they're focusing more on their forensic side than the journalism side, but that, I mean, to me, the title or the concept seems like it would be flipped the other way, more of a journalist than an investigator. Hello, kitty. Yes.
Careful, we can't say that. That's copyrighted.
I have my little kitty here who screams all the time. He's such a quiet baby.
and then you have to hold the cat and say, "Guten Tag, Schatten."
Nobu, regardless of what happens for the rest of the night, I am satisfied in knowing that I got 2 people with my dad joke.
Well, there's a reason why those are dad jokes. They're guiding lights. They're good, standard, and often overlooked. But, and we have gathered the hand. All of our selves are present, and we are only just a little bit past a hard start. So, as is per our usual ritual, I will light the beacons of Rorham and tonight, I think we're just going to go with a mystery scent because all of the empty packs, well, all of the smaller packs that of incense that I obtained, and once I got too low, I just threw them into the box. So we're going to grab our scents from the mystery box, and whatever they are is what we will have in the background. And while that's going, I already have a nice little sip going. And it's time for us to launch any and every question, suggestion, hypotheses, or corners we need to round off before diving in.
Sorry, I got Kira kidnapped.
Yeah, definitely need a recap of what happened last time, considering I wasn't here. I was told I was kidnapped.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And stabbed a lot.
Ooh, I can kidnap. Not kidnap. Recap. That's the thing.
Right. Aurora made a special friend.
It
A
was
special
moist.
friend.
Considering all the images you were posting,
Okay. So basically what happened was, I think you remember that we had split the party, and you and
we broke the number
Harmony.
one rule of adventuring.
Harmony and you were downstairs dealing with the maid that turned into a wolf-like creature of some sort, and
Oh,
me and Hazel were upstairs, and we snuck into the parents' bedroom and noticed there was a skin on the bed with nothing in it.
Yeah.
And we were like, nope, the fuck out of here, and backed up
Right.
towards the door. And as soon as we did that, it started moving and chasing us. So I slammed the door shut, but it snuck under the door and grabbed on
Wait.
my leg.
okay,
Right,
hold on one
and-
second. Okay, I understand now what you were saying, but at first I thought you meant the door was chasing you.
No.
Which,
No.
It wasn't moist.
I mean, considering what
It was
we're
like-
playing, it's not out of the realm of possibility, though. You have to understand that. So
It
I'm just now suddenly, like, in my mind, imagining a door coming off the hinges and just, like, booking
No.
it towards you two.
It-
No. I
It
would've rather
was
fucked the
very
door.
it was very conductive to electricity, and I also, in the course of electrocuting it to make it let go of Aurora, electrocuted Aurora.
But the reason the domination thing got posted was because it was kind of like being chased by a very slippery stingray, and it grabbed my legs and was trying to eat me. But because I
Yes.
love the spring courts, my attempts to beat it turned it on,
Yeah.
and then it wanted to eat me in a whole different way.
No.
Yeah,
Moist.
and it was very slick. And we stabbed it with a lamp and electrocuted it. But since Aurora's made of water, that was kind of a fucked up thing to do, and it
Hey,
worked.
it let
It worked.
it let you go. That was the point.
It worked. And because then I also used my elemental armor and used the electricity that she fed me to shock it from the inside. So yes, it let go.
Right.
And then we run downstairs to the wolf thing, and it seems to think you're its baby or protect you some sort, and got between you and Harmony. And then Harmony had it frozen for a minute, and then it
was not
snapped out of it and grabbed you and jumped out the window.
And
And then I had to fix the window.
amusing. Everyone was like panicking, like, "Oh my god, it ran away! Let's chase it!" And I'm just like, give it a few minutes. When they stop, I'll know where they're at. It's fine.
Oh, that's right, because of our. I was actually thinking about that after you told me I got kidnapped. I'm like, wait a minute. You can just track
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's just like, oh yeah, there they are. It might take a couple of years to get there, but I know where they're at.
So then we tracked it to a school, and now we are outside the school trying to decide what the fuck to do. But we managed to get away from your house. But bad news is there's a weird floppy electrocuted skin thing in the hallway, and we don't know if it's dead or not. But I'm guessing that was your stepmom.
I don't think it's dead, for the record. Because we didn't, double tap.
Okay. That's a lot to take in.
Right.
It was moist.
If you've
Thank you
ever
for reminding me
Right.
that it's moist. Thank you.
if you ever listen to the episode, I hope I did Kira justice.
Oh, did you get to roleplay as Kira?
I was the shadow puppeteer. Yes.
Oh, great.
Oh yeah, you have a wooden sword. That happened.
Yeah. You have a wooden sword now.
Oh, okay. Wait, is this like just a toy sword, or did I use like the elemental weapon to just pull a wooden sword out of somewhere?
Elemental weapon from a chair, I think it was.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right, that fairly well sums up where we are. And it was a lot happening oh so quickly, as is always the case. Multiple things happening at once, multiple opportunities for success and failure, and all those states in between. And it was a ride, and I don't think there's any way to really describe it except for thank you all, because it is. Wow, that was a lot. and listening back at it, it definitely seems like so much more. But with the Reader's Digest, Cliff Notes, Spark Notes version, it still seems like quite a lot. And we are very much into the last pages of this particular book. We are nearing the penultimate episode. This is in fact the penultimate episode, with next chapter being the final last portion of this book too. So with that small recap sitting there before us, are there any other questions? Glorious silence, letting us know that we are all in the correct book, if not in the same chapter, page, and verse. And as always, much like the believed immortality of the kindred characters we once played, much like the potential immortality of these characters, so too is my thanks for your time, your effort, and your energies. Even under the weather, even other things going on, I look forward to our moment of play. I look forward to reminiscing all of the many adventures that these characters and all of the others that you've all brought into the world of my imaginations have had. It has been a glorious trip. So thank you, and so very many more thank yous. And without a shadow of a doubt, this is officially Soup City Sins Obscura, Book 2, Chapter 4, Spotted Tongues with Doubling Snakes. As we just experienced, the characters, the coterie, the motley, the group, the band, the pack, the family of changelings are standing on Hyde Park Boulevard looking at Kenwood Academy, formerly called Kenwood Academic Center, formerly called Kenwood High School, but no matter which name you use. It is a center of the community, much like Hyde Park Academy, just several miles to the south and east. Just like the various other schools in the area, it is a center of the community because Hyde Park is a melting pot of peoples, different upbringings, different backgrounds. And for many years, Hyde Park was the mecca for upwardly mobile professionals, those bent towards the fields of education and science and academic pursuits of all stripe. With them came their liberalness, their leanings left of center, their goals and aspirations for bettering the world through their efforts and through simply knowing and learning the secrets of the universe. It is not with any undue acclaim that University of Chicago, University of Illinois, and various other institutes of higher learning was in fact the center point for the origination of the nuclear bomb. It is not without any excess glorification that Chicago was the foundation of the suburb. Its grid pattern built around fountains of greenery to bring the wild outdoors into public urbane spaces is the foundation for many other cities across the greater US. Chicago is an originator of several ideas that gets perfected elsewhere, typically. It's one of the many reasons why the glorification of the American Mafia became as large as it did, because of the exploits and adventures of those individuals here in the Midwest, typically flyover country. Chicago takes pride in being the second city. Its proximity to one of the largest concentration of nuclear warfare, Great Lakes Naval Base. Its dual airports allowing it to reach everywhere in the continental United States as well as the world. Its hub as the center of the country, because all roads may lead to Rome, but all trains tracks run through Chicago. While there were greater, more notable positions further west and further south and further east, all of the tracks tie, intersect, and move elsewhere through Chicago. And much like all of that detail, Kenwood is much the same for Hyde Park. It is a center place. There have been countless famous writers, authors, entertainers, and the like who have been part of or graduated from Kenwood High School, Academic Center, Academy. And while most people who go on to bigger and better things think of their college days, most of the students of Kenwood think about Kenwood. All of the feeder schools, all of the gifted magnet programs that feed into Kenwood, the rivalry with Whitney Young, the rivalry with Hyde Park Academy, all of that forming those glory days upon which most of their dreams rely. And our group of characters, 3 of the band of the hand, 3 of 4, standing outside looking at all of that history. Because unlike the mortal denizens of the city, they can see the emotions, the feelings, the dreams, the fantasies heaped upon and used as catalysts. So all of that outpouring of energy, all of that vibrant, passionate, youthful exuberation, as well as all of those dark moments of finding oneself, of realizing one self is alone in the world, and realizing all of those troubling, chaotic feelings of coming of age, all of those darker moments are there as well. So standing looking at the building, you're seeing a tapestry of many colors built on all of the highs and most of the lows of becoming a realized person. And it is in fact very heady. Most places have a feeling to them, an aura about them. Most places have a little energy tied into them. But this place has hundreds of thousands of memories ground into the bricks and foundation of its existence. Kenwood has been around since 1969. Its average graduating class is 300 plus souls. All of their dreams, fantasies, nightmares, baked into every brick and pane of glass is what the motley is actually staring upon. And while Harmony, Hazel, and Aurora look at that majestic horror, inside the furthest portion of the building, inside the girls' locker room, inside the athletic department building, physical education wing of the school, Kira has to deal with the bombardment of all of that energy. Looking at it is wonderful. It's a beautiful image. You're not sure exactly what it is, but it's interesting. It's enlivening. It is enriching. It is threatening all that you are as a changeling. But being inside that space is another matter entirely. The blanket's too heavy. The heat's too oppressive. The bombarding of all of that energy and having to maintain one's own personal shields to keep one's sense of self instead of getting lost in, oh my God, did I miss my period? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh God, that teacher's hot. Oh, why am I looking at her? I should like, oh my God, what the hell? Am I going to pass the test? Oh God, the SATs, the ACTs, the teacher didn't really touch those guys. Oh my God. All of those many whispered things and moments are bombarding Kira. All of those tear-filled joys and stumbles are bombarding Kira. All of that life and vibrancy that she missed being away in Obscura, in Apocryphal, is bombarding Kira. Now, for the record, does Kira have anything that might assist her with keeping her mental sobriety being awash in all of those childish, adolescent, prepubescent, and postpubescent feelings and emotions?
She's got a high composure.
And that is very helpful. Let's see how helpful, shall we? Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your composure and word? And of course, much like the hunger system, you'll be using one or more banality, i.e. glamour dice, with your roll.
I think I am still at one banality. That is 3.
A rousing success, though not without cost, as everything costs. Doing so, the moment that you begin shielding yourself against the bombardment of energies and emotions, you are able to stave off being sucked and pulled into those memories. You get a chance to not have to live those moments as you. Doesn't stop them from bumping against, knocking against, and pushing against your shielding of yourself, the breaking of your right mind. And it doesn't help that the cleaner of your father's condo, the protector of the home, as it were, against dirt, grime, and various other viruses and bacteria, is not as he was. For years, he was a face that was just there, part of the background, part of making sure your life moved. in a semi-straight line towards whatever goal and potential you had within you. Of course, all of that was before Obscura. All of that was before being snatched across the hedge. All of that was before. And what does that mean? They being a being of immeasurable viciousness, yet willing to protect you from your own lot land. And they're pacing, giving you a distance of about 10 feet. Walls of lockers behind you. The small benches that are used to change upon between you and them raging and ranting to themselves as they stalk backwards and forwards. And what is this wooden sword that seems to be able to cut the very air doing in your hands?
Kira looks around, trying to get her bearings. And looking down, is she restrained at all?
No, she's not.
And her captor is occupied, correct?
He's pacing and mentally slathering his, I can't believe that. What the hell? Fuck. And backwards and forwards he goes. And every few couple of paces he glances towards you and goes back to trying to work this out. There's gotta be a way to go back.
Kira is not going to move because that would draw unwanted attention, but she will slip out her phone and will try to send a text to Hazel, just letting her know she's still alive and that she's in the... I'm assuming that you said this was the infirmary, right?
It's the northernmost portion of the building. It's the athletic department. You're in the northeast
athletic
portion
department.
of the building. It's where just past the door into the other space, the actual open space, is two of the gyms. If you go out those doors and make a right, you'll enter into the swimming pool. So yeah, it is a gymnasium basically, but you're in the locker room portion of it, which is the furthermost northeastern portion of the building for the girls' locker room.
So then she just sends a text saying, still alive in the locker room by the gyms. This thing is distracted. ?
Excellent. That being the case, let's roll your stealth with that, shall we? Be so kind, let's go ahead and roll your dexterity. And what shall we use? Should we use your stealth, or should we, in fact, use your computer? Which of the two are you the worst at?
I'm sorry, what was the other option?
Your stealth or computer. Which are you?
I'm worse at computer.
Excellent. So we will use your stealth. Dexterity and stealth. It will be contested.
Okay. Let's see here. This. I am the stealthiest texter of all time.
You can almost do it without looking. Look at that. You only look down to make sure the camera is actually on the right portion of the screen.
Definitely not text to voice.
Now, if I did text to voice, you'd probably also get all of the me cursing at it, getting everything wrong.
There's no way that it should work. The light from the screen alone is setting your teeth on edge. They're gonna see it. They're gonna see it. But you shield the light with your body. you move in front of it just enough so that none of the light actually catches the Solera in the back of theirs. They don't register it. It's almost as if they don't see it, and they're so caught up in whatever it is that they're muttering and stammering to themselves, whatever argument that they are having. You're not sure which version of them is winning, but someone clearly is, and something else is being backed into the corner during that conversation. They're so caught up in winning it or suffering the defeat of it that they don't notice. Even as they pause every couple of steps and look in your direction and then go back to muttering backwards and forwards, their reticulated legs, their overly long fingers, their snarling snout of a face, and most pressingly, their inky black skin. It is not the darkness of someone born in the Saharan or sub-Saharan of Africa. It's not someone who has a descent from slavery. This is the black that absorbs the light itself. This is a black so pure and dense that if you stare too long into it, you'll begin to fall. And speaking of falling, outside on Hyde Park Boulevard, standing just beneath the number 28 bus stop right here south of the school. No building, no singular structure should be as filled, overflowing with such wild magic, because that's what emotions are. That's what the investment of hopes and dreams and belief does. It is the very core of Arcadia. And these humans, and it's troubling having to separate yourself from these humans, but there's no other way to mentally fashion what it is that you're facing. These humans are so careless. It is literally like walking into someone's house and their dog is playing with a grenade. The pin is out and the dog is just gnawing, and they're perfectly okay with it. That's what this building is. It is a hall of potential horrific outcomes, and yet it is also one of the most beautiful sights you've all had in a very long while. That amount of just raw potential, that amount of just raw glamour, infused and infected in every aspect. The mortar itself looks as if it is a work of art, crawling and creeping up the building as it radiates all of the good, bad, and ill intentions of all of the myriad of students, young adults, teachers, families that have begun or were catalyzed here. It goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway. What is it that you all do?
The first order of business would be finding a way in. Open window, open door.
So she's in there. You sure she's in there?
Positive. And then I will hold up my phone showing the text.
Harmony will stride with purpose towards the door.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about buildings built in 1969. Buildings built, started to be built in 1965. There is no shortage of doors. Though the 4 doors on the southmost portion of the building where you all are facing are sheer. There are no handles. They all open outward. And they are sheets of fire retardant metal. They are designed to keep the world out. The entire south facing portion of the building is a huge brick facade with chest high risers where there's greenery and shrubs and bushes. And there's no way that if you were not able to see the magic invested into the bricks and the buildings and every facet of it, that it would not be imposing. It's only as you either go east or west that the building begins to open up itself to you. There's a huge play area for the students. There's 4 basketball hoops set up. There's space to do soccer. It's not a full soccer field. That's further north. If you go to the east, there's a huge parking lot that, well, now accepts various cards for students and faculty. To the west of the building is where the actual face of the building is. There are 4 causeways connecting each of the 3 major portions of the building. Each of the buildings are 3 stories tall, except for the center portion, which is actually only 2 stories, but it's technically 2.5 stories tall. The name of the building is there on the southmost block of the building, the wing that's there. But the middle portion is where the faculty and administration and most of the classes actually are. There are classes throughout the entirety of the building, but the causeways themselves are these glass articulated metal tubes, squat, square, rectangular, where the students pass from one building to the next in both the front portion of the building and the rear portion. So there's 4 bilaterally from each other. So you all need to decide east or west, and how are you going to try to attack if you're not going to try to pry open these fire doors that are on each extreme end of the building.
What Aurora is doing while they're discussing this is going to harvest some of the glamour and refill her glamour pool.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your stamina plus word DC 3.
Do I still have to put the glamour in this roll, or just...
Yes.
Okay.
As beings of Arcadia, anytime you use any role where your attributes are in use, there's glamour. You all are creatures of Arcadia. You all are neither fully Arcadian nor fully mortal any longer. But the touch of magic is a thing that is very difficult to resist. And is also, unfortunately, very, very alluring. It is necessary. It is needed. It is vital. It is, well, just like emotions. It is either all of the horribly positive things that may have happened and all of the horrible bad things you may have survived. It is heady. And just like emotions, sometimes it gets out of hand. It acts through you. It lashes out. It, well, in the case of while you all are deciding, at the moment that Hazel holds up her phone and you all begin examining the doors, deciding which way you're going to try to break in purposefully to get inside the school, to get one of yours back, you realize why Aurora has been silent. Her eyes glossing over, looking like a star-filled sea, royally and lashing out at itself, waves rising higher and higher. The absorption of emotion is sometimes too much. And this is what you all are witnessing as you realize why Aurora, our talkative, our bountiful, bouncing Aurora is what are you? And you feel it, the rush of that energy moving across the space and latching onto her and making her part of it, completing a circuit that it merely needed an outlet for. And her skin is once more that of the essence of water itself. Her eyes shifting to be wild and filled with magic, the waves visible beneath her brow. Her hair flowing with an unfelt invisible wind, and a smile dancing on her lips, filled with all of the anger, rage, and tranquility of the sea. When humans get drunk, when humans have had their fill, all of their inhibitions disappear. They become more of what they are without social pressures, stigmas, and taboos weighing on their thoughts and actions. All of their insecurities disappear, because who cares? Fuck them people. When changeling become glamour struck, it is much the same. Fuck them people. Well, you always have a double image of the mask obscuring what Aurora is. You all can still see bits and portions of her seeming on her. It is when she's unmasked, when she is standing in the fullness of her fey Arcadian nature, that you all become a little maudlin, a little touch of home is there. And what you've experienced while on the other side begins washing over you, and memories begin to assail. And even in those moments, most mortals would not be able to see who she really is, what she really was. But when she and you and any other changeling becomes glamour struck, it is obvious. There is no denying the otherness of you all. There is no averting the gaze and believing the falsity of the mask. There's no giving in to the banal. You are in the presence of something not of this world. And in those moments, you are at the most danger to yourself and the world around you, because things from across the hedge are drawn towards you. Things from across the hedge know you are fully 100% where you are. You all feel it. The herd like in the distance. Mortals far enough away to not actually cast eyes on Aurora would think it was thunder. You all know that sound. That's the sound of the hunt.
Hazel is just going to let out an extra dramatic sigh.
What sort of school is this?
It's a high school. It is a center of learning.
Okay. Harmony would also like to soak in some of the glamour if she can, as she strides towards the nearest set of doors.
Same row, same DC.
Wait, no, you said there were fire doors.
Yeah.
Are fire doors waterproof?
One way to find out.
This is Aurora drunk on the glamour she's managed to gather, but not realizing how dangerous the situation is right now. Is going to do typical party girl woo and grab the doors and yank them towards herself by like pushing her water up underneath the doors and pulling them towards her.
Is there anything besides rolling her eyes that Hazel may be doing in this moment, as not one but two members of her motley succumb to the might and weight of all of that excess bombarding magic? While Aurora is a thing of the sea, Harmony is in fact a thing ice cold, the dead of winter, the brightest hell of most human existence. It takes the hardy and wild to survive the colder climes. To do so in Arcadia has its own damaging effects. There is a absence of any but the strongest. There is a chill that sinks into the bones, and every bit of heat in the area begins falling into the shining, bright armor unveiled there for all to see. As Harmony gives into the excess, as Harmony sips and sups, much like Aurora, far too deeply.
For fuck's sake. She is going to go perhaps the smarter route and retrieve from her little pouch just 3 simple looking berries and just munch on them one by one. Her goblin fruit. Ha. What? And then she is going to go. What is she gonna do? She's gonna go look for another access route. Perhaps which character sheet. And first she is going to look like in the corners and see if there are any little friend creepy crawlies of the 8-legged variety.
Okay, she's gonna begin. No, you said that they were berries.
Yes.
No.
So,
which berries?
the book doesn't specify really. It just says most berries are unremarkable and restore 1 point of glamour when consumed. Exceptional varieties provide the extra effects.
Mm-hmm.
Since I never mentioned that I was having any of the extra varieties, just plain old berries.
Okay. The confluence.
Unless you want me to have fun ones.
Oh, fun is always the purpose. The reason why I asked is so that when describing these lovely little berries, these small bits of Arcadia brought into the world, these berries are unlike most others. They're not your blue, your rasp, your straw, or any of those. They are pinkish fruits. Just a little bit larger than being cherries. Just a little bit larger. And by being so relatively ordinary in their seeming, these pink, deliciously sweet berries, most wouldn't notice them as anything out of the ordinary. But a child of winter, a child of water, a child of Arcadia knows blushberries when they see them, though that's not of anyone's immediate concern. Blushberries belong to certain nobles, those of the spring and summer, hopes, those who revel in the rejuvenation of life, those who, by most other definitions, would be the more warm and inviting necromantic source. Obtaining the berries is one of those many everyday magics that happens in Arcadia, and you can only find them in certain places at certain times, and that was another life for Hazel. That was another moment. The confluence of two glamour-struck changeling and the production and consumption of blush berries. Oh, dear child, there are quite a few things crawling in the bushes. And it's as you ingest and consume, and the doors explode out towards you, Aurora, in harmony, that you realize that the hunt is not off in the distance, but already here. The things crawling through the bushes are, under the best circumstances, would be considered bugs. Under the best circumstances. And in fact, you're sure that most mortals, most who have not been touched by Arcadia, would never think much of them. But as you and your motley mates are in the full grip of magic, you realize that those spiders, those roly-polies, those creepy crawly things just out of sight are doubts. And not D-O-U-B-T-S, but D-O-U-T-S. The physical manifestations of all of the creeping dread thoughts of mortals, giving life by various keepers, collected by some. Some keep huge terrariums as large as cities where they are allowed to procreate and create others of their kind and ilk, some taking the shape of little spiders made of glass, others roly-polies made of cotton candy and childish imaginations, hopes and dreams, the doubts of those, the very real, niggling, intrusive thoughts that makes most mortals give up their sense of hope and allows them to drift easily into a depressive state where nothing will ever be worth the energy necessary for it. They feed on those things, growing larger in the perception of them, growing larger as they sup and sip more and more of the poison they drip into human minds. And of course, at a high school where there's so many young, unshaped minds and boundless hearts, they congregate in huge numbers. And you just found and washed out a portion of their hidey hole, which, much like when you poke a wasp nest, you know what the result is. And first it's a few that are surfing along the waters, being frozen in place by the touch of Harmony's entitlement, her court. And they adapt to that cold, and the glass begins reflecting shards of snowfall, and the cotton candy begins to take on sharp and brutal shapes. And the hundreds of thousands of small bugs that could best be described as mental cockroaches begin taking on horrid forms, their wings being frozen in place, preventing them from flying, forcing them to scamper and skitter and crawl faster and faster towards you all. But you're the one closest to see it. Aurora's opening the doors and giggling like a woman who has had far too much to drink in far too little time, without her girlfriends keeping her from taking the policeman's cap, their baton, and dancing on top of their squad car. While a few feet further on, Harmony, glinting and shining in a light that only shines for her. The very vestments of winter about her stands like a knight preparing to battle the entire angry horde rushing down the steeps. And in the physical education building, as your captor, your protector, your knight of youth stalks back and forth, the ideas that are bombarding them are enough to drive most persons insane. For someone who is already alternative and askew to rational thought, they are far and away beyond insane. Your text fired off with no response, no vibration from your phone letting you know you have a message in return. What is it that Kiera is doing? Your sword still in hand, your, well, ability to end another thing's life.
Kiera knows that physically she would be outclassed by this monster, so she is going to play it safe until she has her friends come and save her. But she's going to try and distract it and like buy time for everyone to get here by trying to strike up a conversation. Because that seems like an intelligent thing to do, right? Right?
Why? You're supposed to be with your father. Why? But we've done a lot for your family. We keep you secure.
Where is father?
You know you were supposed to meet at Hancock today for your lunch, which of course becomes your dinner and becomes your shopping. You know this. Why did you bring those others? How did they find you? We've done much to hide you. God, now, you know this makes me hungry. Why?
How long have you been like this? I don't remember.
Like what?
Ever seeing you like this.
Oh, of course not. The words carved on you don't allow you to see this. You shouldn't be able to see this now, but they've poisoned you. Those rebels, those infidels, those fucking fairies. God, now how do we undo this? I don't want to reach out. We're going to have to. We
reach out to who?
We can undo this. We don't worry. It only hurt a little bit. It'll be fine. It's a temporary thing. You'll be
What are you?
It's fine.
What are you talking about? Who? Who are you reaching out to?
I suppose it's no harm now, and it's going to be undone anyway. You surely should. I suppose should know. After all, it's not something that you're gonna ever remember anyway. After the reset, that's the fucking fun. Hopefully, this one takes. So, you little fake thing aren't real. You never have been. Ever. The real you is over there. And don't ask where over there is. We'll be there soon enough. Just hold on to your idea of yourself. And we will be with Yardley very, very soon. And Yardley, of course, will rewrite you just like they always do. Your real self will help embed you and make sure things add up, okay? So just...
Who's Yardley?
Yardley, the keeper of the real you. Your master, your teacher, your professor, your everything. Yardley is who made you. You're nothing but sticks and twines, after all. But Yardley will make sure that we reset you, and we can go back to protecting you. And he'll mask me again. We won't have to do this any longer. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then maybe a little bite this time. Maybe.
Is stepmom also like you?
No. She's not serving Yardley's wife a servant. How dare you? I know you don't mean it. You don't understand. No, I don't understand. I shouldn't be told this. We shouldn't be... But you'll forget it anyway. Yardley and the real you will rewrite you again, just like when you were 16. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then we will go back and... So I need you to bleed a little bit to summon Yardley.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's a great idea. It always works. Remember when you fell off of your bike going down the hill? I'm sure that's a lovely memory. How your father picked you up and carried you home. Your sister so gently placing the band-aid over your knee in the center of your palm. That was because you saw us. And you're not supposed to ever see us. Not like this. It's for your own good. So
where is my sister? Do you know where she went?
Well, there are some souls who can't be split. And so, well, they have to be... Well, never mind. We don't need to talk about that, because strong emotions and strong thoughts sometimes affect how much we can erase, how much we can overwrite. And I like my job. I like hunting more, but as far as it goes, have you ever had movie theater popcorn? It is delicious. There's nothing like that in Arcadia. So stay still. And their overly long fingers begin clicking, and fingernails of them touching as they slowly begin to close off your opportunity and options of evading. And it's clear, looking into their absence of light eyes, the sockets that are there, that they've done this before. They are accustomed to hunting, not necessarily being the sheepdog, but instead being the wolf. You're not sure how you know this, but you do vaguely remember, yes, and the name of their species escapes you as you hear the voice, and you see your keeper. You see Yardley, their long wizard-like beard and mustache, their hair swooped back, the white jacket, which is very professorial, and also borderline scientific, the lab coats that scientists and researchers hold, and that candelabra which refuses to go out no matter how much it's doused, them lighting the cup in their hand and spouting off species and how they got there, which ones they were spliced with, and changing. And do make a note of that. Do make a note of that. Yes, jot that down. You remember the weight of that moment. And you remember your sister's face. She looks up at you from the table. No, it's not your sister. You know it's your sister, but it's not your sister. You don't have any immediate emotional connection. Oh, yes, she's quite afraid. Don't worry about that. It will only last for a moment. Now, what we'll need in this particular case, and he reaches up and grabs something off of a shelf, sits it on the table next to your sister's face. It's a huge goblin-esque gourd. Has eyes, and it's singing to itself and whistling, and He reaches and grabs another. So we're going to mix these two, and then we're going to, and he's going on, and you get the idea, but you're looking down into your sister's eyes as she stares up into your face, pleadingly. But there's no emotional connection. There's no weight tying you to her. Oh, yes. I'm sure you're wondering why you're, and then he goes into how he temporarily removed your connection. He temporarily removed your warmth. And he points to the vial where it's there on the shelf, where he keeps all of the other such unnecessary items. He can't bring himself to destroy it. After all, it's got to be some use. Maybe he can implant it into, and he goes on about the species and the creature that he's going to be implanting it into, and how it may make a difference and soften their natural predatory instincts. And looking at the vial and that memory in that moment, you also remember how you, one morning, climbed that seemingly endless shelf and grabbed those memories and drunk them down. And you were awash in the tears that you couldn't shed in that moment. And you know, or knew in that moment, where your sister was heading, who will be taking responsibility for her. And it's all fleeting and slipping away. You're trying to hold on to it, but it's like trying to hold on to air. The more you squeeze your hand around it, the less you have. And as you push at the growing clouds and mists of forgetfulness in your mind, you're trying to bring that image, that you have a name, you have a nothing. Now just hold still. It's just a little blood. It'll be fine. It's not even really your blood. It'll be perfectly fine. Now, I don't want to hurt you too much, but just hold still.
Kira is gonna wait for them to get a little closer, and then she's going to stab them in the eye with the sword and then make a break for it.
All right. Well, at that distance, would you be so kind as to roll? Unless, of course, you have a charm, or contract, or ability that would allow you to substitute your dexterity for your strength. Roll your strength plus weaponry and add your word.
Weaponry word. Does it being an elemental weapon give me a bonus? I forget. I don't have the PDF with me right now.
One second. It does not give you an immediate bonus.
Okay. I got 1.
As you lash out, so intent on protecting you from yourself and so intent on causing just as little pain as possible, there is a connection. Your sword slices through the air in front of you and it reels back as if it had been doused in acid. And as it begins screaming bloody rage with itself more so than you, seeing the doubts there rushing forward, unbeknownst to your motley mates, Hazel, with Aurora, in the now open doors, the fire alarm and security alarms for the building ringing, and it's that annoying actual electronic bell sounding. I don't have the chimes and what have you from most modern buildings. It is a very old building, and most of its systems, while retrofitted, are in fact still very, very old. It is the old ringing bell of come to class that you've heard in cartoons and movies going back through the 50s. Aurora, there's nothing like being so light and so filled with the full magic of Arcadia. You are in fact very quite inebriated. Anything that does not actually pertain to you utilizing your gifts is a -2. Your contracts are regular difficulty, but everything else is a -2. The same for you, Harmony. The ringing bell of battle is sounding, and you feel the creeping warmth of the world eating away at your reserves of strength. Yet there is battle to be had. There is a glorious, unending perfection of a moment just there to be used. You are so awash in the very elemental nature of your being and the very real glory and wish for a glorious engagement that is the bulk of your focus. You are in fact still glamour struck and -2 to the uses of anything that does not pertain to the uses of your contracts and expressing your changeling self. So into this conflagration of magical overindulgence, what is it that everyone is doing?
So these bugs, so to speak, would they be classified as live spiders?
Their mask makes them seem as live spiders, so yes, let's go with that.
All right. So I'm going to scoop one up and swallow it and invoke the loophole for my fun little contract. The boon of the scuttling spider. And I'm going to start climbing the wall.
The outside of the building, where are you going in?
I'm hoping that there's like a hatch for like maintenance people to go down and, get in that way.
Okay, so you're climbing to the roof.
Yes. Unless I see an open window before then.
Aurora, the open door. Harmony, the open door. Are you all doing anything as Hazel rushes the building, and instead of diving through the door or stepping over the water that's freezing around the space, creating a small slick of ice patch as both water and winter meet? What are you two doing?
Have we noticed the Dowds, or are we're just shredding through?
Well, Hazel snatches something out of the bush, begins munching as if she's eating chips, and rushing towards the building, and immediately leaps onto it as if she is Spider-Woman made flesh. She's skittering and crawling up the side of the building. You wouldn't know from a distance that her mind is being beset with a very real doubt as to who she is. What version of her present itself is actually her? What does it matter in the grand scheme of things if she is in fact no one, as she has existed for so very long, neither a part of Arcadia nor part of the real world, always a ghost and a shadow between things, becoming what is most needed without actually fulfilling any of those needs. She's there for wants. She's there for fantasies and ideations. She herself, in the grand scheme of things, has left no mark upon the world. Her absence, not even noticed. What sort of person would you have to be for no one to come looking for you? Yes, the doubts still are coming.
Well, I have part of my blessing is that if I'm surrounded by my element and I have at least half of my willpower, I can act with that element like I did to open the door. I guess I would use it to crush the doubts. Whatever's in the water gets squeezed and crushed behind me.
So you begin attacking the bushes where all the creepy crawlies and bugs that are rushing forward, pouring out more and more, and you just have this pile of small carcasses of things that are not actual things, because despite how heavily they weigh upon us, thoughts have no physical weight. Doubts have no actual manifestation, even though they drag us down with their inestimable weight. They hold us still, they keep us from soaring, they undercut and they make us too heavy mentally to do anything physically, except for watch as they roll over us. They lay on us crushingly, small little things with no actual strength or weight that we did not give them. You see hundreds, more and more, and you're lashing out and attempting to crush them, to wash them away. But the more you fight them, the more they begin locking on, as it were, being pulled and drawn by the very use of all of that lovely Arcadian magic, that lovely, delicious, never-ending supply. In harmony.
She's not gonna stop moving though. Like she's moving forward, she's searching for Kira actively.
So she enters the door. She enters the building.
Yeah, she's going in. It's just if she sees that, she's gonna do something about it, but more as a, oh, okay, that's going on behind me. But it's her focus is to find Kira.
In harmony, as Hazel goes up the building and Aurora goes in the building. What is it that you do?
Harmony will also go in the building, remarking that I could have got that.
Hearing that she's teamwork makes the dream work. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're in, right?
We are indeed in.
And piles of frozen and washed away carcasses begin backfilling as you all make it past the doorway.
Now, did we regain any glamour, or did we fail?
Oh, you regain glamour, but you are, in fact, glamour struck. You are, in fact, very quite drunk on the real weight and headiness of all of that power.
Well, then assume that whatever she said it extra bitchy.
It's funny, even with each of you not really having to experience the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows of high school. The overpressing weight of the promise of tomorrow and the expectations of living up to and exceeding your potentials begins crawling around the edges of your mind. You all realize that being inside the belly of the beast, as it were, that the doubts have nestled and been feeding off of all of that energy and all of that magic for all of these years. And their presence crawling through the walls, in the bushes, hiding between the lockers, rifling through the floor, makes this place oh so very potent with its own sort of presence, its own personality. And it's not one that you like. It's not a good friend. It's not a good old pal. It is very much the horror of puberty. It is very much the horrors of coming of age, putting those childish things down, leaving the fantasies and magic of your youth behind. The doubts have had a field day here for longer than most people have known this place to exist. And you hear it, the roaring of anger and the rush of feet. So between Sela and Shabdas, you all have a choice. What is it? And with that weighing on us, it is 57 after the hour. Let's be back at 7 after the hour. So you guys need a quick Welcome back, folks. How we doing?
We're doing.
Not being moist.
Decidedly unmoist. One might even call it dry.
As funny as it is, I don't remember anyone, save certain faculty, being dry during high school. It was a very hot time. During swim, after swim, during gym, during PE, after PE, leading up to PE, watching PE, moving from class to class, there were a lot of just moistness going around. And speaking of moistness, Aurora, are we back?
I am, but I was getting my giggles under control because I was trying not to make the obvious joke.
Do it. Do it.
It seems like wherever Aurora goes, she makes people wet. That soundboard thing is pretty cool.
It's very useful.
Scared the hell out of me.
It was surprising, and unlike normal weeks, I actually have the volume in here set very, very high. I was hoping that would make a difference in regards to later, but it did make a difference right now.
I apologize.
Oh no, it was very well timed. And speaking of well timed, as such things go, we dive back into the moment with Harmony and Aurora moving through the causeway from the arts and junior high portion. The arts included all of your physical media, your painting, your sketching, what have you, all of those classrooms and labs. It also included all of your music, band, symphony, blah, 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 all of the music classes and rooms. And the causeways and breezeways between those two portions of the building into the main administrative faculty building where all of the languages, the science labs, and language labs, the resource learning centers are located, is where the sound of footsteps, and you all finally making it from the bulk noise of the alarm going off from the torn open doors and the old, very much bell-like ringing of the alarm is now lessened. It's not deafening. You can hear the skittering behind you, as well as the sound of feet rushing towards you from the other direction, along with that howling, bestial, wild roaring and raging. While on the roof, all of those noises are just mixing in with the chorus of city noises, the cars passing, the police sirens in the distance, the ambulances and alarms going off all around you. Hyde Park, again, is a melting pot, but it is also home to several small emergency clinics. It is at the edge of the University of Illinois Medical Center. There's several hospitals, children's hospitals, regular adult hospitals, and various other centers for the ambulance and police sounds to be heading towards. They're further west from you, but Hyde Park, being the melting pot that it is not an island of calm. The sound of the passing metro train, the electric line, is there to immediately to your east. Just beyond that, there are several bars and nightclubs and neighborhood homes and condos, and it's an urban scape where you can have a small taste of the entirety of Chicago, including several criminal enterprises that result in people needing medical and police attention. So the alarm, which is now technically 4 stories below you, just the building being 3 stories tall, means that it is a difference in the way that sound travels. The skittering from the doubts, far quieter. And while the noises directly below you mix with the sounds of the city, there's something that's skittering and crawling around your mind. Taking a doubt into yourself gives it, even in death, well, purchase as a easy access to all of the many life experiences that you've held, the many moments that you've beheld and made and survived through, as well as the very real essence of what you are as a mirror skin, as a reflection broken and twisted by your keeper, made to be what was wanted in that moment, made to be the very real physical embodiment of other people's fantasies and ideas. And while you are relatively inured and understand what the doubts do, taking it into oneself is a more intimate learning experience. All of that to say, with the doubt ingested, with its abilities taken into yourself, would you be so kind as to see where we are in regards to resisting it? And it is a standard difficulty, and you'd be using your resolve plus composure.
And would the Cloak of Leaves account?
No, because it'd be you against yourself.
I.
Are we waiting for me? I'm dealing with something in the chat here.
No worries. We were just waiting on Hazel to give us a roll. See what the result.
Okay.
It's all right. Apparently, Numlock is off. Why would it be on?
There's no way that any of those intrusive thoughts, there's no way that the many hurdles to life would keep you from experiencing it and gritting your teeth past all of those internal issues, girding your loins against the war of your better and worse selves mentally. You traipse across the roof. You move from one hatch to the next, attempting to find one that works best for you. You're not sure exactly what sense it is that's drawing you forward, but several stories below where you are, you have an immediate sense of where you need to be. The perfect timing of things being what is wanted in this situation. It grants you a wherewithal to swallow down all of those many damaging thoughts that exist just behind conscious notice. That whispering, unending voice of all of the moments where you've been less than, you've not quite measured up to, you have not utilized your potential. Yeah. And slinking over the edge and down to the top of the causeway, you find a hatch near the exhaust fan. And you lift it and slink inside onto the second story of the building. There's a stairwell just north of where you are on the right, and there's a stairway just behind you further south at the exit of the causeway to your left. There's also, you're not sure how but you know that if you go all the way through the causeway south, there's another stairwell that would lead down, as well as one story up. You're not sure how you memorize it or figured that out, but you have an unerring understanding as to what this spatial layout is.
And then off she will go, of course, probably sticking onto the ceiling for best bounce of surprise.
Just linking across the drop tile ceiling, keeping it balanced by occasionally using the brick wall just there beneath. You mount the stairwell down to the first floor as Kira races past you, and the sounds of a beast given full release to hunt and chase are feet to your north and closing. Now, how far ahead of their protector, their assistant keeper is Kira? Would you be so kind as to roll at your leisure your dexterity and athletics? How?
That was me you were asking to roll that, Dex and Athletics.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I do have dots in athletics. Oh.
Yay!
It was all the PE classes you took in junior high.
I would like to use some willpower, because that's terrible. Well,
Better is better.
it is a 100% increase.
So that we have a more accurate physical view of what is happening. You've made it through the physical education wing. You've made it into the administrative central hub of this several winged building. You're entering through the doors into a causeway, looking for a way to escape. There's chain doors to your right and left, and in the center of that causeway is Aurora and Harmony. Behind them, it looks as if all of the pipes in the building burst. There's icy water washing away several bodies of small insect beings. You just passed on your left a stairwell leading up, putting you further in the building. But up is never an escape, because what goes up must come down. And you enter into the causeway. Harmony and Aurora are there, and you're not sure, but you feel the presence of Hazel near at hand. Her perfume, her cologne, her joie de vivre of whatever she is close, but you can't tell where. And literally 2 arms length behind you is your keeper. Stay still. It won't hurt if you just stay still. And in the midst of its prattling and asking you to stay still, there's roars and gnashing of teeth and all manner of outward signs of bestial vexation.
Kira is not responding to his or her keeper and will keep running towards her friends, and will try and kick one of these insect things towards her captor if she gets a chance to see if it'll slow him down.
I'm sorry, that lost me a little bit. What was that?
Kira is running towards her friends away from her captor, and she's also going to try and kick one of these doubts at the wolfman thing that's chasing her to try and slow it down. I'm sorry,
Nope, I got you.
did I miss something? Okay.
Aurora, Harmony, Hazel, what are we doing?
She's in sight now.
Yeah.
Harmony will pounce, drawing some knives in the process.
Hazel is going to start laughing softly, maniacally. And since he probably can't see her, she is going to invoke Mean as a Baba Yaga and try to make him afeared.
And Aurora.
Aurora is happy to see Kira and waves happily at them. We came to rescue you!
Thanks!
And then seeing the wolf creature Let's see. Well, you said am I still at a -2 to anything that does not pertain to a contract?
Yes.
Okay. Let I see then. I'm gonna, I guess, Smirk Blur the creature behind Kira, which cost me 1 glamour, and its manipulation, subterfuge, and word. And they get it contested, but it lasts for 1 turn.
Alright, so in order of operations in regards to physical, emotional, and all of that, while everything is happening roughly at the exact same time, we will go with first natural resistance, or as Hazel is the tempting tale of the Baba Yaga, as a manipulation plus subterfuge plus mantle. So you're gonna go ahead and roll.
No, mane, not tail. It's the royal gift, or the royal contract.
That is your presence plus intimidation.
Plus mantle.
Yes. Naming the fear of a hunter has not been done, so you will receive -1. They'll roll their composure plus tolerance. And what?
Yeah, the naming it is just the loophole. I can still spend the glamour to do it.
Alright, well, that is a roll of 2. Make that happen. And Aurora, your roll with your particular contract, but you go ahead and make that happen.
It's 4.
So as they are happening in accordance, let's see what we have. What does fate decide for you guys? The wildness is explored. Here. Okay.
Did I need to roll anything?
Yes. Being as there's effect that's actually happening at the end, we're going to roll theirs first and get the penalty so that we know where we're going with that. And then you and Harmony attacked physically, so you're going to be rolling your strength plus weaponry. Unless, of course, you have a contract or a skill that allows you to use your dexterity. And the same thing is going to be happening for Harmony.
Could I make an argument that kicking something at this thing would require some amount of dexterity to accomplish?
I'm not accounting for distance, but if you would like, yes, sure, let's go ahead and roll dexterity.
Dos.
And we're just waiting on Harmony, strength, and weaponry when she gets a chance.
I got 3.
Aha! There we go. 7. Okay.
Oh, I guess, is he a true fae or a thing from fairy?
Yes.
Okay, so that just reduces my glamour cost by 1. It's all good. Mechanically, it's the same.
In the conflagration of chaos, there are several outcomes that are naturally more beneficial than others. A ceasing of violence, a peace, or an end of things is typically the goal for most things, especially for knights errant and those brave and foolish enough to physically wrestle with the evils of the world. Those outcomes happen far more often and far less grandly than that, except and when magic is involved. Then great epics and tales of the moment are told and spread, and the growing reputation of those involved swells. Under the best circumstances, outnumbered, outgunned, failure is the only recourse. To honorably die upon one's sword. No such thing happens in truth. Warfare, emotional, physical, is gruesome, grotesque, is a horrifying thing. And as it looks towards the creeping dread of the coming of a keeper, as the doubts settle in, burrowing through its skin, crawling beneath the overly long fingernails, and the blades tossed, smelling of fresh snow, sink home. Only a fool would stand underneath such an outpouring of violence and vehemence and the incriminating weight of one's own doubts. And Ed is no fool. So as blade after blade connects, after horror besets it, as if it's awash in the soaking wet stench of fear and salty briny deep, it does the only valorous thing one can. It gives up the ghost. It gives up the quickening, the life's blood. It falls under the onslaught of so many things happening at once. Too many to stave off, too many to dodge, too much coming at once. It looks upon Kira with the most fearful expression. And drops in a soggy puddle of wet fur like midnight ebon darkness. The alarm still going. The outside world, the banality of everyday life, raining on the magical parade. The doubts still behind you, slogging and splashing, skittering through the water towards you all. Looking on the slowly moldering dead thing of Fae there before you. What is it that you all might be intending?
Well, we've had fun this evening, but I don't think we should be here when, because that alarm is getting on my nerves, one, and two, there's probably people coming, and what do we do with that thing? And those things. Speaking of which, since it's a thing now and not a being, would changeling hours work on it? Can I guess, rot it away to nothing?
There's but one way to find out.
Okay, well, since that would be one less issue to worry about, we are going to do that. It costs 1 glamour, but it's instant and it lasts for 1 chapter. So, that is what we are going to do.
Quick clarifying question: is this the same school that Kira's book club is part of, or is this a different school that they're at?
It is a different school. It is just under a mile away.
Okay, so Kira's not as concerned about protecting it then. So she's going to make the suggestion we all should get out of here now.
So there's like a corpse in the high school.
There is.
A puddle of goo.
Is it a puddle of goo or is it a corpse?
It is a gooey, hairy corpse.
I'm going to guess that leaving a dead body in the high school is probably not a great idea.
Yeah, your kids don't go there.
Probably not.
Especially since the doors were blown open and I didn't hostile take over and now we're all on camera.
Everybody's on somebody's camera.
And the turn to turn it into nothing isn't working. Aurora's standing there literally with her hands out, squinting, trying her best. And then it's like, nope, don't work.
I thought we were done hiding bodies when we stopped playing vampire.
Right. It's one of like the old style high schools that have the fire hoses every so often.
No, it has fire extinguishers at each end of the causeway where you all are. The doors inside are not supposed to be chained, but every night they actually close. They actually do chain the doors. The chains are unlocked at 6 a.m. when the school officially opens. The fire doors that you all blew out at the south end of the building are key access for the police and faculty that open and maintenance that opens the school up. Right now, with the 2, in some places 3.5-inch thick puddle of water being frozen in place by the dueling elemental aspects of both courts. It looks like the pipes burst, but there's no pipe that's actually burst. It looks as if there was a huge issue. The puddle of gooey death only attesting to that. And while you all are standing still, while you all are considering your options, the doubts are not. Would everyone be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and athletics DC 3?
I know you did say some pipes burst as we were walking through, but I guess it doesn't matter because like I said, it's going to look like a pipe burst anyway.
Right.
Am I dodging something?
You are.
What do I get for defensive dreamscaping that raises my defense then?
Already accounted for.
Okay.
Any bonuses for being on the ceiling?
On the ceiling against all of these spider-like things.
Right?
Excuse me. They're more surprised to see you there. Like, what? Hey, they're coming up to meet us. Nice. We've got guests.
And DC was 3.
Yes. I'm Fran. This is my husband, Jim. Good to meet you. We're gonna just feed on your nightmares now, if you don't mind. Coming of age in most places in America is a oppressive, weighty thing. It shapes and forms what our futures will be. It gives us an idea of the world that we are entering into and the one we are leaving behind. These doubts, these incriminating little things, like every stressor in the modern age, refuse to be satiated unless, of course, we satiate them actively. Unless, of course, we spend the time working on ourselves to heal many issues and slights that we suffer. And of course, we choose to avoid and defeat them actively. They become oppressingly consistent, stealing our time, homes, our lives, making the world a much darker place. And just like the real world stressors, these doubts are, if and when you ignore them, insurmountable. And in the few seconds that you've all managed to stand still and catch your breath, they have swarmed in droves, crawling over themselves, using each other for leverage, crawling across the ceilings, coating the doors in the endless supply, demanding to be with you, in you, crawling over fingers, causing the hairs to raise the back of the neck, the goose flesh to jump to bas relief on the skin. And they are coming and continue coming. So in this instance, instead of them burrowing inside and latching on like ticks, they are attempting to steal pieces of you and become one with those pieces. As they crawl up the legs and drop off the ceiling, move through the hair like, well, they are spider-like things. What are you all doing being beset? There is literally one action before they begin to sink their pincers, to sink their antennae, to dig in and to make themselves one with you, to drive your own internal issues to the surface of you, to feed on the magic of your being by all of your dark.
Kira is freaking out and swatting them away.
Aurora is doing a stereotypical girl thing and running and screeching, swatting at things back towards the door.
You try to go through the chain doors, which are easily surmountable by you all, by your kind, or do you try to exit out the entrance that you made?
Which is closest?
The chain doors.
Yeah. Out they go. Out she goes.
Well, if that's the way we're going towards the chain doors, I will hostile take over that shit.
All right, so make a plan. Kira, as you're swatting, everyone's, Aurora and Harmony are moving towards the soon-to-be formerly chained doors leading out of the causeway. What are you and Hazel doing?
Hazel will likely drop down off the ceiling to escort Kira out.
As the only person who's actually succumbed to purchase and being ingested and digested by these things. You know how appallingly their siren song speaks to that inner darkness, how it dredges up those memories and those intrusive thoughts and makes this moment, whatever that moment is, far darker than need be. Is there any warning, anything that Hazel is doing to better prepare and help her guard themselves against, well, themselves?
Let's see. What story would she tell them? Possibly the tangentially appropriate one of the Aesop's fables. The courage, I would say, of the, what was it, a mouse that removes the thorn from a lion's paw. Bravery!
Do tell. As you're dropping from the ceiling, wrapping your arm around Kira, and moving toward the door, following Harmony and Aurora out onto Blackstone Boulevard. What is it you're saying?
Right, wait. I know it's in here somewhere. Let's see. She would say, once upon a time, there was a mouse. A sad and lonely mouse, scared of what might happen to it. And they came upon a lion who was very angry and very grumpy because it had a thorn in its paw. The mouse summoned up its bravery and helped the lion to remove the thorn. And the lion then helped the mouse conquer its fears.
What the fuck? We gotta go.
Yeah, slowly.
There is a strength of arms that comes from sharing a fellowship. It's the reason why churches work. It's the reason why group therapy works. It's the reason why poor soldiers become good soldiers. Fellowship of other soldiers and armed forces members. It's the reason why, unfortunately, prisons work. They make better criminals because you are in the fellowship of other criminals. People who've chosen extra legal enterprises to better themselves, if only but temporarily. In the right fellowship, one becomes a better version of themselves. You realize and practice skills you had not previously held. And as seemingly out of place is Hazel's story. In the middle of Aurora screaming, Kira batting away, and Harmony striding forth into the battle of this moment, tapping into the essence of Arcadia, bringing that contract, that promise that you all will never be held against your will, barring certain specific situations, to the fore. The chains falling away, the doors being burst open as you all rush out of the high school, as you all leave high school behind. The doubts, the recriminations, the corpse laying in the floor, moldering. There is a feeling of relief hearing the bombarding, jingling sounds of sirens. There is a relief as you all rush down the slight embanked pathway into the causeway. That the doubts don't pursue you once you reach the street. And you all are standing on the street, beating away the doubts that have clung to you and found places to pull pieces off and try to find their way in. Crawling around your ears and in your hair, you're beating them away, and the fellowship of your motley bursting forth and free of high school and all of its dramas instills each of you with a glowing, palpable sense of relief. It is a fleeting thing. But you've all exited high school and into the real world. And you know that unless, of course, you choose to go back to that school, you're finally over and done with it. And as many questions as the night has raised, you all can at least say that it's over. And on that note, with you all standing in the middle of Blackstone Boulevard there, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode and wish you all each a lovely night. I look forward to seeing you next week for the closing of this particular book. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night all.